Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Exit Realty Central video training. I am your host, Billy Jack, franchise owner and designated supervisor here at Exit Realty Central in El Paso, Texas. This video is going to be on the TREC amendment. Okay? So this is what you're going to use when you're going to change some of the terms to the contract or add, special modifications or things like that. So we'll go right on into it. Okay? So right here, just what it says, street name and city. So 3500 Memphis Avenue, El Paso. And that's it. That's all you really need to put on here. Okay? Because this is attached to the contract, which has all the full information. Okay, so here, pretty self-explanatory here. This is if you're going to change the price, the amount of money you're coming in. Let's say your buyer's going to put more cash, less finance, or more finance, less cash. This is where you're going to make those changes. Okay. If you're going to change the sales price, then you just change it here. Okay. And then you'll still have to put here. Okay. If you're going to reduce it by a certain amount or increase it or whatever it is, just have these filled out too if they're going to be changing. Okay. A lot of times this will happen. You'll use this part if for some reason, let's say the appraisal comes back a little low, or if they can't qualify for that high amount, a certain amount of financing, they come up with more cash and they're financing less than what was on the original, then this is what it's going to change to. Okay, you'll have to change this. Underwriting will ask for this. Okay, so if they do change it and it doesn't match the contract, they will likely ask you to fill this out anyways and have it submitted. Okay. On here, this is probably one of the most common used ones. Is this is for any repairs or anything after you do inspections or observations on the house. This is the part that you'll use. Okay, so for example, if you have on a inspection report that the roof was destroyed or the roof has significant damage or something like that, you will type all that in here. Now, what's very important about this section here is you need to be specific. Okay, so if the roof needs to be repaired, there's issues with the roof, don't just put and then that's it. Okay, don't just put repair roof, because that leaves it open. Okay, so you have to think about it as how can they do the bare minimum and not do what you're trying to imply. Okay, so an appropriate response would be like this. Okay, professional roofing contractor to repair or replace the roof covering. Okay, so this, and then you can also put to the effect of provide a paid invoice. Okay, so this is also in the contract too. In the 1-4, it does have it on the inspection parts. On the inspection and condition of the house, it does say that any kind of repairs that require a professional license, that they're supposed to have it. But this, you put this here, and this will ensure and give your buyer more peace of mind that a contractor did it, and any warranty services will transfer or things like that. Okay, so it's not just Uncle Bob that went up there and did the repair. Okay, if the electrical panel or let's say the water heater was destroyed, it needs a new one, or it appears that it needs a new one. Okay, so you would put, and then also always put professional plumbing contractor to replace water heater. Okay, so you don't just put plumber to replace or something. If you use this in a court of law, this is professional plumbing contractor means somebody that's professional in his trade. He has the appropriate licensing, and contractor means that's the top, what they say. Instead of just professional plumber, you can get away with that if you need more space. Just do have that in there, and then you can put this provide paid invoice. Okay, things like that. So do be specific. Okay, if there's a cracked window in a bedroom You would say you don't really have to put professional window technician or something like that. You could just put replace cracked window in southwest bedroom. Okay, issues like that. Okay, so you don't just put fixed window. Okay, because they might just put a lot of tape, or they might seal it in with a crack seal they use for the windshields, and they try to hide it. I've seen plenty of that, and that's not really appropriate. Okay, so always be specific on how you're going to ask for your repairs or treatments. Okay, treatments is also for maybe a termite infestation. If it does have a termite infestation, it's just a professional pest control to treat termite infestation or something like that. Okay, like that. And they're gonna need the if they're doing financing or something, they're gonna need the license number anyways from the pest control company that does it. Okay, so if you have any questions or any of this, or you have a tricky situation, okay, you can always ask me. I am quite good at coming up with those kind of wordings and everything, especially since I do inspections myself. I'll know what you're pretty much looking at. Okay, so the date of the paragraph of paragraph 9 of the contract is changed to, okay, y'all know what that is. It's going to be the closing. See, this is the closing date. Closing. Okay, so if you need to extend your closing date, okay, then it's going to be here. So if you had it closing for, let's say, tomorrow's date, and you need to extend it by 7 days, or whatever title tells you, or the mortgage tells you, or whatever your situation is, or seller, and you change it here. Okay, and you'll just put the new date right here. Okay, the amount of paragraph 12A, 1B. Okay, so that's going to be 12A, 1B. Okay, so this is the closing costs that are going to go in this following order. Okay, so there's a little bit of difference in this section here, but I'll explain to it here in a minute. Okay, so that's if that amount's going to change there. Okay. Cost of the lender require repairs and treatments. Okay, so this is if you have the appraisal that's requiring lender require repairs, and you're going to split it, hey, seller to pay for half and buyer to pay for half, this is what you'll put. Or if you're going to split it 75%, then you'll calculate it and you'll put the amounts right here. Okay? And always remember to check the boxes, whichever one it's going to be. Okay, don't forget to check these. A lot of people do forget that, and then some agents don't just look at this, and they don't see these checked. They won't even read over here. Okay, so let's see, where were we? Okay, item 6 here. Okay, seller has paid, or buyer has paid the seller of an additional option P for extension. So this is if you're going to extend your option period. Okay, if you couldn't get an inspection in time, or you need more time to think about it, or you're still in negotiation in a way, you want to extend it, okay, you can put it. If you're not gonna pay, like let's say it's the seller's fault that they didn't have the utilities on for inspections, or they needed a little bit more time to get back to you or so, and it's not really your buyer that's wanting the extension, but it's just kind of out of default, just to be fair. You can put 0 here. Okay, you can put 0, and then you just put the date here. Okay, because you're not paying. I have that a lot of times where the utilities are not on, or sometimes maybe the lockbox got jammed and it doesn't want to open, or something happened and we just can't do inspections, and we need an extra week sometimes, or there was a major water leak in there and they need to fix it, and you need extra option time. Then there won't be no more extra money being thrown out of there. Okay, that's not fair. So you just put 0, and then you put your extra time, whatever date yours is. Okay, and then of course, if you're gonna put extra option fee, typically it will be credited to the sales price. That's only fair, right? If you go through with it, your money should be through in there. Okay. Sometimes if it's very hot market or it's a high option period or something like that, sometimes the seller will say, well, I want that money either way if you're going to take it off the market. And that usually will happen if you want it off the market for an extended period of time. Okay. All right. Number 7 here. Buyer waives the unrestricted right to terminate the contract which the option fee was paid. So you might be saying, well, why would you want to waive your right to the option period when you still have several days left? Okay, well, I'll tell you why. So for an example, if let's say you have a 10-day option period, okay, 10 days, you were able to get your inspections done right away, or let's say you're not getting it done. Either way, you have maybe 8 days or 7 days left after everything is good, or maybe, you're the house was in very good shape, there was nothing really wrong, or you're just not going to negotiate anything. Okay, so you can to make it a little bit more enticing, okay, because the seller's always going to be worried a little bit about, well, you still have 7 more days or 5 more days. What about if you terminate? Because most people terminate right at the last minute, right before 5 p.m. They'll usually terminate, right, and they keep you waiting and they keep your house off the market. So a lot of strategy is, let's say you're going to negotiate, you just want to knock off $5,000. Let's say there was, it needs something of several repairs, but you say, you know what, I'm not going to ask for anything, but just give me $2,500 or knock off $5,000, whatever it is. And I'll waive the rest of my contract period, the rest of my option period. I'll terminate it, I'll waive it, and we'll go straight into regular contract. Okay, so you don't have to worry about me backing out of your deal. Okay, so that's what this could be used for. Okay, just to go straight in there. Hey, I don't need this option period no more. Just give me this real quick, and we'll saddle up and ride with the rest. Okay, so that's typically what this is for. Not very common that it's used, but it is a good tactic. Okay, to have on your tool belt there. Okay. Now this one, the date the buyer to give written notice the seller cannot obtain buyer approval. Okay, so this is on the third party financing. Okay, that date, usually 21 days, whatever it is. Okay, if you need more time because a loan officer or whatever's happening, or you had to change lenders or something, whatever it is, and you need a little bit more time, this is where you put that date. Okay, so you'll change it to this here. All right. Other modifications. Okay, so other modifications, this can be a number of things. Okay, so here typically, I know on closing costs, you can have your closing costs. Let's see, where are we here? Okay, right here. But this, if you're on conventional or so, or FHA, a lot of times, I don't really put this here because some people get a little bit confused, of course, because buyer's expenses, it's going to be paid in the following order, which is this, and all that. And I get it, it kind of does say it here, but you can also put that here too, if you want, seller to pay a certain amount of closing costs. Okay. And another thing, what this is used for too is, let's say you're in there looking at the house during your option period, or even during your regular contract, and you want the refrigerator to stay, that they have a refrigerator and a washer and dryer. Then you can put laundry machines, washer and dryer to convey, okay, or something like that. Or if let's say they have, I don't know, that the carpets are very dirty. Okay, well, no, that will go up here on the repairs. Okay, so if that would be here if you're going to renegotiate that. But, or if they have a lot of potted plants outside or something like that, you could put like pots to convey. Okay, and that's after your contract. Okay, after you get it. If you're barely negotiating, that kind of stuff, you'll put it on this section here. Okay, you could put it here. Okay, on the special provisions, you can put this to convey or whatever. Okay, let's see here, where was it? All right, and that's it. Okay, executed date, you all know about this. I'll remind you again. Do make sure that this is filled out. That's why it's in such big letters in its own little box, and it's in big bold right here. This is the final day of execution. So if you do it, you're going to have your people sign, and then you're going to send it over to the listing agent. If they get it signed, then the listing agent will put the date here. If the other agent is doing this form and sending it to you, or if they change something, if you send it and they change something and sign and send it back, okay, it's the last one that signs. It's what it's going to be. Okay, it'll be the last person that signs. Okay, so that's when it's fully executed. When everybody's in agreement with the terms, the last person to have it. Okay, so if you keep going back and forth, you wait until both people come into an agreement to put the executed date. Okay, and don't get intimidated by this. This means broker here means you. Okay, remember you are a associate. Okay, so you're an extension of it. So you have the authority to put that there. Okay, some people do get confused. They say, well, the broker should have put that. Well, no, that if you have a lot of agents, brokers are gonna have a lot of trouble putting all that. So that's for you. Okay, all right. So I think that's it. That pretty much does it for this. Hopefully it helps you. Any questions, comments, concerns, you can always reach out to me. And that is it. We'll see you on the next video.